Obviously, Woj and Windy are covering the series and not making picks. Drea, what is the most important factor? When this series is over and someone is holding up the Larry O'Brien trophy, what will we say was the reason the winning team won?
The backcourt battle. Luka and Kyrie against Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. The two superstars. It takes superstars. I know it's a team game. I know there's 5 players on the court. But the two superstars, their poise, their aggression, their control, and how they insert themselves into the game and force their will, that'll be the battle. The two superstars that play the best, I anticipate their team winning, and I have more trust in Luka and Kyrie.
Because of late game situations, that's really what we've seen them be difference-making in this postseason.
They've been incredible, and they've also been tested. Like, I know Jaylen Brown and I know Jason Tatum have played really well in the finals, but when you look at the lineup of the teams they have had to go through, Luka and Kyrie have been tested getting out of the West and getting to this position.
Yeah, I mean, the Celtics, through no fault of their own, have played a variety of injury-riddled teams, whereas all 3 teams the Mavericks beat in the playoffs this year won at least 50 games during the regular season. UD, you were talking this morning, you think the key is Porzingis to this series. Why is he so important?
I just think the key to this series is Porzingis, and I have Boston tonight, but overall I do think that Dallas will win this series. But his stretching the floor, how Dallas is going to guard him. Are they going to switch those things? Because if you try to zone that and get back to him, he's shooting from 28, 29 feet, and he's 7 foot, so you're never contesting that shot. On the defensive end, how active can he be? How mobile can he be? Is he going to be able to slide them puppies? Are they going to go into a drop? So his health and what he's going to be able to do on both ends of the floor, I think is going to be huge in this series. So I like Boston for tonight, but overall in the series, I do think Dallas has been more battle-tested, and I do think in 7 games, Dallas will win.
Do they know, Windy, again, you've been covering all this for us, just how well he'll be able to slide the puppies tonight? I mean, what is their expectation for his health?
He's going to play. The question, how effective he can be and how many minutes. I think where his stamina is, how his legs feel as the game goes on is a question.
Yeah, and we've seen, you and I were just talking yesterday about when the Knicks had to put OG Anunoby out there, what that looked like. Certainly, we don't expect this to look anything like that, but with the big guys, and he's as big as it gets, those lower body injuries tend to be a problem. What is the most important factor in this series to you?
This is a potentially all-time great player playing against a potentially all-time great team. The side of those that wins out is probably going to win the whole thing. You can make a case that the Celtics potentially are one of the best teams we've seen in the last 20 years. Luka could be at the beginning of a dominant run here, and at the end of this, if he's holding the trophy, it could be the beginning of it. But I think that I know great players win, but great teams win too.
Who is it, the great team or the great player? Again, these guys are not making picks. You're covering the series for us here, but that was a similar thing to what you told me, is that you got usually the best player wins.
Usually he does. The Celtics, their talent is overwhelming at every position. They are deep talented. They have stars. They have great role players. But the best player in the series plays for the Dallas Mavericks, Luka Doncic, and he can control the last 6-7 minutes a game, unlike almost anybody else except for the two-time MVP, Nikola Jokic. That's what's going to be fascinating to me.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's especially interesting because there's something to be said about mixing a player back into the rotation. I know Kristaps Porzingis is great, but figuring out the lineup, figuring out the minutes he's going to play, figuring out when he's tired, who rotates in for him, that's not as easy as it seems, because if he's not as healthy as he was in the regular season, his availability and the minutes he can go at a time is not going to be the same as it is in the regular season. I hear UD agreeing in my ear, but you have to factor that into play. Your rotations are not going to be the same, and they're going to have to figure it out as each game goes. They're not going to figure it out right away in game 1.
And just to put a final bow on this part of it, yes, the Celtics have been the best team in the NBA from the moment the first ball was thrown in the air in October. Of that, there is no question. From the time they made these trades, the Mavericks have been next. So this is not a fluke. This is not a surprise, right? This team has been this good basically since February.
This is the proper matchup that we've been building towards for 6 months.
Yeah, you're going to see a 5 next to the Mavericks because that was their seed. They were the 5th seeded team. But if you just go back to February when they made these acquisitions, and again, shout out to Tim Legler, who was calling it the day those trades happened on this show. The Mavericks have been the best team in the West. So what does it add up to? Tonight we will finally start to find out. The NBA Finals begin 8:30 Eastern on ABC. You see the stars are ready to go. It's Tatum and Brown. It's Luka and it's Kyrie. Game 1 coverage will tip with NBA Countdown at 8 Eastern tonight, live from Boston.
I'm on fire. Super.